What does $50 million underground actually buy you? And what does it teach the rest of us about money? The ultra-rich are spending up to $20 million each on underground doomsday bunkers, not Spartan survival shelters, swimming pools, private theaters, and fully operational hydroponic farms buried hundreds of feet below ground. A standard Cold War shelter was concrete, canned beans, and misery. A modern billionaire bunker is engineered to sustain life indefinitely, at 4 seasons comfort levels, while withstanding a nuclear detonation directly above it. Here's where it gets genuinely hard. Blast-proofing demands thick steel-reinforced concrete. Zero flexibility, zero windows. Luxury living demands space, light, airflow, and aesthetics. These two requirements are almost perfectly opposed. The entry point alone costs more than most American homes. Blast-proof vault doors, rated to survive a nuclear pressure wave, are custom-forged steel, weigh around 1,600 pounds, and must seal with 0 air gaps. 1 door, 20 tons, 1 entry. Beyond the door, air filtration systems strip nuclear fallout particles, biological agents, and chemical contaminants simultaneously. These systems, with redundant backups, typically cost between $6,495 and $8,800, and must run without external service for years. But here's the question nobody asks first. Where does the power come from? You can't run a cinema and a hydroponic farm on batteries. The answer is geothermal energy, tapping the Earth's own heat to generate electricity indefinitely, independent of any surface grid. Food independence is solved with hydroponic farms, soil-free growing systems using nutrient-rich water and LED grow lights. A properly engineered hydroponic bay can produce enough calories for a dozen people indefinitely without a single acre of surface land. Here's where the bunker story becomes a money lesson. Most people assume earning more automatically creates wealth. That's the first trap. Financial educator Mel Abraham is direct. Making more money can leave you broker than before if it isn't managed with discipline. This is the income trap. Lifestyle inflation, bigger homes, faster cars, more subscriptions, rises to meet every raise. The paycheck grows, the net worth stays flat. Earning more without a system for keeping it is running faster on the same treadmill. Here's the reframe most people miss. Treating your physical health as your greatest financial asset isn't motivational fluff, it's legitimate financial strategy. Your productive years, your cognitive sharpness, your energy, these are your actual income-generating infrastructure. Back underground. The billionaires building these bunkers aren't just buying comfort. They're making a $50 million bet on uncertainty. That's a financial decision. A concentrated, expensive hedge against civilizational risk. And it reveals exactly how the ultra-wealthy think about asset allocation. Billionaires frequently run a 50-50 investment split. Half of investable assets into long-term compounding vehicles, half into liquid or alternative assets. The bunker is an extreme version of the alternative half. Most of us won't build bunkers, but the split principle applies at any scale. The most impressive engineering in this story isn't the blast door or the geothermal plant. It's compounding. Tom Ferry's 1% per quarter strategy shows that growing net worth by just 1% every 3 months, without interruption, transforms financial outcomes over 20 years. 1% per quarter sounds almost insulting in its modesty. Compounded over 20 years, 80 compounding periods, it produces roughly 120% total gain. Not from a hot stock tip, not from a risky bet, from boring, consistent quarterly progress, applied without interruption. Financial literacy calls this boring wins, the principle that consistency beats hacks, hype, and high-risk shortcuts every time, measured across decades. The billionaire's bunker is flashy. The billionaire's actual wealth strategy is aggressively boring. But even boring consistency has one enemy: human behavior. We skip contributions. We panic sell. We delay. Automation eliminates that variable entirely. Automating investment contributions removes human error from the equation and enforces the consistency that compounding demands. The bunker runs on the same principle. Its geothermal power, air filtration, and hydroponic systems are fully automated. No human operator required around the clock. The engineers built consistency in. The wealthy build financial automation in for exactly the same reason. The podcast Penny Power documents the mindset shifts that separate the ultra-rich from high earners who stay broke. The core shift is this. Income earners ask how much can I make? Wealth builders ask how much can I keep, compound, and eventually not need to work to sustain. A 2023 TIAA Institute study found that Americans with high financial literacy accumulate roughly 3 times the retirement assets of those with low literacy at identical income levels. The salary was the same. The knowledge gap made the difference, not the paycheck. Generational wealth is compounding on its longest timeline. The Walton family's fortune, seeded by Sam Walton's first Walmart store in 1962, has grown to over $400 billion across multiple generations. That's not luck. That's 60 years of compounding structure, legally transferred. The theater and the pool aren't vanity. They're psychological engineering. NASA's research at Antarctic Concordia Station, used to simulate long-duration isolation, consistently shows that mental health deteriorates before food or power becomes critical. Luxury is the survival system for the mind. The air filtration system handles 3 simultaneous threats: nuclear particulate fallout, biological pathogens, and chemical agents. Each requires a different filter medium. The system runs in parallel redundancy. If one stage fails, 2 others hold the seal. Redundancy is also a wealth-building principle. The 50-50 split builds financial redundancy. Automated contributions build behavioral redundancy. Multiple income streams build income redundancy. The bunker engineers and the disciplined investor are solving the same problem with the same logic. Here's the counterintuitive twist. $50 million in a bunker is $50 million not compounding. The S&P 500 has delivered an average annual return of roughly 10% since 1957. At that rate, $50 million invested in 2004 would exceed $300 million today. The bunker is a hedge, and the most expensive insurance premium ever written. Economist Richard Easterlin identified this decades ago. Beyond a certain income threshold, additional wealth produces diminishing gains in well-being. At a net worth of several $100 million, $300 million more changes almost nothing about daily life. Certainty, however, changes everything. That trade is rational, just only available at extreme scale. For the rest of us, the lesson inverts. We're not past the threshold where certainty outweighs compounding. We're exactly where compounding matters most. Every dollar automated into an investment account today does more for our future than any dollar spent hedging uncertainty we can't yet afford to hedge. The bunker builders spend millions on medical bays and pharmaceutical stockpiles. You can't build a bunker, but you can treat your own physical and cognitive capacity with the same seriousness they bring to their underground medical suite. Same principle, different budget. The actionable version of the billionaire bunker strategy has 4 components. Automate contributions. Apply the 50-50 split at your scale. Compound consistently using Tom Ferry's 1% per quarter framework. And treat your health as the infrastructure that makes every other strategy executable. The real doomsday scenario isn't nuclear. It's financial. It's arriving at retirement with a high lifetime income and a net worth that can't sustain 6 months of expenses. That catastrophe is quieter than a blast door slamming shut, and far more common. Consider the survival condo project in Kansas. A converted Atlas missile silo now selling private floors for up to $3 million each. It has a pool, a gym, a hydroponic farm, and a 5-year food supply. It's sold out. Twice. The waiting list is longer than the silo is deep. So what does $50 million underground actually teach us? That the real fortress is the financial system you build above ground. Automated, compounding, and boring enough to outlast every emergency you never saw coming.